So it's been a while since I've made a YouTube video, had a dissertation to write and submit, and as well as a presentation. So a lot has gone on since my last video in the Formula One world. But what a season we've had so far. We've had drama, tension, excitement, surprises, but most importantly, we have a title battle. Hamilton, Verstappen, Mercedes, Red Bull. Who do I feel will come out on top? Well, as of time of recording, the Turkish Grand Prix was last weekend, and Verstappen has a 6-point lead with 6 races left of the season. Do I think Verstappen is the one to dethrone Hamilton's reign at the top? In short, no. Not this season, at least. The pace that the Mercedes showed at Istanbul Park should give Red Bull cause for concern. And with only 2 of the 6 tracks left on the calendar expected to favour Red Bull, that being Mexico and Brazil, you'd think that even though he's currently 6 points behind, Hamilton is favourite for this championship in my opinion. It doesn't mean he'll win the title, but that's where the smart money is, to be honest. I mean, it's not been Hamilton's best season by far. There's been too many mistakes that you wouldn't expect a 7-time world champion to make. Whilst on the other hand, Verstappen has had some terrible luck, and he probably should be a lot clearer in the championship than 6 points. There is also the small matter of Silverstone and Monza. We'll probably get another one in my opinion. I don't know when, but we'll probably get another incident to Silverstone and Monza again. But it has helped create this, well, dramatic climax to the season. And
clear.
That's all every single Formula One fan has been craving for. A title fight that goes right to the wire between 2 amazing drivers. As for the Constructors' Championship, well, Mercedes are 36 points clear of Red Bull, and given that Bottas is the informed driver on the grid ever since his Alfa Romeo deal was announced, I expect Mercedes to retain their Constructors' title crown. As for the rest of the grid, well, the Ferrari versus McLaren battle, just like the title race, that will go down to the final race of the season. I personally believe Ferrari will have the edge in that, and then they'll have a monster car next year, and probably we're going to be going back to Forza Ferrari and all that. But the reason I think Ferrari will finish ahead of McLaren in the Constructors is just because the consistency of both of their drivers at the minute. I mean, Sainz has the longest point scoring streak of anyone on the grid, which is at 9 races. While someone like Leclerc, you can always count on him to pull out like a world-class drive, just like he done at Silverstone. No one expected him to be fighting for the win that day, but there he was.
Keep this up.
Whilst McLaren, even though they had that 1-2 at Monza, Ricciardo, he's not really been great this season. He's been quite a disappointment, which is a shame because Ricciardo, obviously, he has the capabilities of challenging for a world title if the car was correct for him. So I do hope that next season, he feels more comfortable with the new regs within the team, and hopefully if McLaren produce a good car again, they can be challenging at the front for those titles. That ultimately, that's where the team belongs. Further down the grid, well, Gasly's probably still gonna outclass and outperform Tsunoda at every race. He'll probably go flawless against Tsunoda in qualifying, but AlphaTauri will finish behind Alpine in the championship, I believe. I would do a lot of things to see a Fernando Alonso podium, but at the same time, I will take bad luck for the rest of the season if it means Alpine give him a bullet car next season and he's fighting for that third world championship. Though, given how this season has gone, I personally wouldn't be surprised if we saw an Alonso podium. And given the rest of the grid, well, it looks like everyone's focusing on the new regs for 2022. A team like Aston Martin, it's going to be important for them to nail the new regs in 22 because they've had a disappointing 21. They've gone from being the third quickest car to having the fourth worst car on the grid, and that's just regression. It's just not good enough considering the amount of investment Lawrence Stroll has put in to Aston Martin and is going to put in for the future to ensure that Aston are competing for championships at the front of the grid in the future. Some other things that I'll predict will happen, some back crazy ones. Latifi to out qualify Russell on the Saturday, not by a sprint, in actual qualifying, and maybe another crazy race to happen like in Hungary, but fortune favours a Mick Schumacher and he scores a point. Though knowing how it works in F1, it's probably going to be Mazepin who scores Hassan's only point of the season. So much pain if that happens. And obviously Alfa Romeo, well, the big thing about them is this Andretti deal going to happen? You know, it does sound like it will probably happen from what I've read. Obviously they teased the announcement the other day, but it was just a Formula E partnership, title sponsorship, so they know how to play F1 fans, you know, they know how to string them along, and they're not even in the sport yet. But if that does happen, and I expect it to, then obviously I expect Colton Herta to probably take that final seat and be Valtteri Bottas's teammate for next season. It's a shame for, say, someone of Oscar Piastri's talent and potential, but you know, Colton Herta is one of those few drivers that aren't in the European scene at the minute who I would like to see have a crack at Formula 1. I know the super license points are a big issue, but I'm sure if he got the drive and Andretti take over, I'm sure he'll give a good account of himself in F1. Like, you only need to look at his IndyCar career so far, you know, in such a short space of time there, he's made a huge impact. So then again, I was bigging up Yuki Tsunoda at the start of this season, and well, I was really wrong about that. He still hasn't out-qualified Gasly, and he's probably not going to for the rest of the season. But those were my F1 2021 predictions for the rest of the season. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, or get at me on Twitter for my terrible F1 opinions. Like and subscribe if you want to, I'm not going to force you to. And hopefully we get the finale to this season that it deserves, because it's been a class season so far.